Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I want to talk about the Lakers, but there are some things I want to talk about before that. Monte Morris was just traded to Detroit. The framework on that deal, we do not know what's going back to Washington as of yet. I waited, and said forget it, and just kept it going. And also a few things that we didn't mention. Seth Curry, Dallas for 2 years, so Seth is headed back to Dallas. D Rose is headed to the Grizzlies. I'm not sure what the framework is on that. I think it's a 2 year deal. And O'Shea Brissett signed with Boston. I believe that's a don't know how many years that is, but it has a player option attached to it. I should have wrote down those years, but for whatever reason did not. So that is partial news. Forgive me, but that ain't here what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is the LA Lakers. And the LA Lakers have put together a pretty good roster here that I'm very interested in discussing where we need to keep pushing forward in regards to building with what it is that we have already attached. Um, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Rui Hachimura in place, Gabe Vincent, Cam Reddish, um, Jared Vanderbilt, Torian Prince, Max Christie, Cole Swider, Jalen Hood Schifino, Maxwell Lewis, D'Lo, maybe, Reeves, maybe, uh, Demoy Hodge, Mobamba, maybe, Castleton, Fudge, and Damian Ba. That is the roster there. We need a center. We could use a center. And we've got to resign Reeves. We've got to resign D'Lo. We did lose, obviously, Troy Brown, lost Dennis Schroeder. Uh, it's easy to kind of see where the Lakers definitely have upgraded in some very key areas, particularly with our wings. We have so much size here that we have to be very pleased with. When you think about just up and down this roster, from LeBron to Rui, Cam, Torian Prince, Max Christie, Vanderbilt, Cole Swider, Maxwell Lewis. Hopefully, we can bring back Austin. I don't see why we wouldn't. Our team is pretty solid when it comes to these wings and having switchable defensive players who should be able to hit shots. We got a nice set of players that we can use, that we, tradable assets. Um, I love what we have right now surrounding LeBron and Anthony Davis. We just have to find ourselves a couple of centers. But I understand not investing too much in the center position just the same. I don't know how much money's left over. I didn't do the homework on that. But as far as us getting a guy like Brook Lopez, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just not certain what our money situation looks like in regards to that. But we definitely need to respect that we just don't have anybody that can guard anybody who's taller than 7 feet, other than LeBron. Well, no, not LeBron. I wouldn't want to put him on any of those guys personally, but Anthony Davis and maybe Jared Vanderbilt if we're lucky. Obviously, we want to bring back Bamba to help ourselves, but even he may go and get a bag somewhere else. So we're in the market for a center, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what the Lakers want to do in regards to that. I don't know how they're going to handle the D'Lo money. If he does re-sign with us, uh, to how much, I don't know. So that's really a curious thing to me. But we definitely should be trying to bring him back. And Austin Reeves, still got to see what the damage is on Austin. We definitely caught a break with Rui, if you ask me. Him getting at 51, we were hopeful he would come in at 50, 51, something like that. Probably figured he would get more like 60, 65. In a market like this, maybe even more. So I thought we lucked out with Rui Hachimura. I know he's going to play well for us. Um, and we're still going to need him, because if we don't get this center, he's going to be the guy we put on a lot of these big dudes. You best believe it. He's going to be getting some of them assignments if we don't improve this center position. So I think the opportunity for a guy like Castleton to get some real minutes is there, man. I think if he has a chance to really play well, he's going to get some minutes. And I think we're going to do a lot of small ball. I mean, that's obvious. Cole Swider, you're going to see play some of those minutes. I think, as I said, Vanderbilt already. That's understood. And Cam Reddish, I don't know what they're going to do with Cam Reddish, but he's a very intriguing prospect, especially when you consider what else we have. You think about the second unit we have here. Torian Prince, Cam Reddish. I don't know how they want to use Cole Swider and Christie and Maxwell Lewis. But this team is really solid, man. I love what we have so long as we get ourselves some centers. Because otherwise we're going to have guys playing out of position. That's going to bring us an entirely different dynamic. So that's my concern. But all in all, most of these guys are multi-positional, so that shouldn't make as much of a difference when it really comes down to it with most of what it is we're trying to do. It's mostly switchable. It's essentially what I'm seeing here. So, yeah, man, this is a good team. I am not mad. I was really pleased with the Gabe Vincent signing. I do have my questions about Gabe in regards to his consistency, how we're going to use him in regards to, he's a shooting guard who's a bit undersized. I don't expect him to be setting anybody up. So maybe he can surprise me with his playmaking, but I'm looking at him to just make shots and hit buckets. And so, play defense, obviously, is more so what I'm trying to say. But I think this is a really good two-way player that we're picking up, who I don't mind putting on some of these fast guards out here, giving ourselves a chance. He's obviously played in big moments and is developing really well. So we did have a guy come over from the Miami Heat system and not play well, and Kendrick Nunn, but I think this is a very different situation because Kendrick was hurt that first year, and Gabe is coming in healthy. So I'm excited about Gabe, an entirely different player, another undrafted guy that gets a bag today. So congratulations to those dudes, him and Fred VanVleet. And this is a good situation. I can't wait to see what Max Christie can do, what his role is going to be on this team. He's such a fantastic two-way player as well. So I like the Torian Prince two-way ability. He can play some defense, obviously hit some shots. A nice veteran to bring in, not too old, not taking any shots away from anybody. Kind of can play that Troy Brown role. It's an upgrade from Troy Brown. It's essentially how I'm looking at Torian Prince. So I like it. I like everything we did here, Rob. Rob Pelinka did a great job. We just got to continue to build from here. And hopefully we can get lucky and not have Reeves sign some astronomical contract that we can't match. We offered him, I think it was 3 years, 51, I think is what they said, which would be great. If he signs that would be great. But I don't expect that's what his ceiling is. In fact, that would be a massive discount from what it is I expect him to get. So we better be ready for that. But I like this because as I look at this roster, I see an opportunity right now for Jalen Hood-Schifino to get some righteous minutes at point guard. When you consider you moved on from Dennis Schroeder, that's going to help him have that, because Gabe Vincent is not a point guard. So, I think that is what really works. Gabe is yet another guy who can catch and shoot. Cam Reddish, he has talent. I can't wait to see what he can do. Both sides of the floor again, two-way guys. So that's the name of the game right here. I just think our coach is going to love being able to continue to coach an elite defensive team, because that's exactly what we're trying to put together here, with a bit more balance as it pertains to us being able to hit shots. I think we have a lot of shot makers on our team. And what I also like is I don't particularly think we're injury prone. Obviously our core is, we're going to exclude that. But the guys on here are fairly durable. Guys you expect to play, guys you expect to see for most of the season if everything goes the way it's supposed to go. So, knock on wood, obviously you can't predict these things, but going by their history and judging by where they're at in their careers, they should be good to go, all of these guys. So I'm excited. I'm extremely excited, to be honest with you. I just want to see us put together a little more talent here in regards to our big man's position. But when you consider what the Lakers were dealing with in regards to what we could build, obviously most of our players being free agents, I think it looks pretty good. Now what I want to do is hear what others have to say about it, because that's what I haven't heard. What others think. I'd imagine everybody's saying we still need to get a center, but I remember last year when we were having the process of building our team and we were assessing what we were seeing without having heard what was coming next. So the team didn't seem complete, and it wasn't. So this is a bit different because our team is a bit more complete by the end of the day than it was last year on free agent day. But um, I think the holes on this team have to do with just not quite having the size yet, uh, and not really knowing where the path to that is coming from with the free agency pool looking as it is with the center position. So that's what is curious to me. And if we lose D'Lo and we don't bring back a point guard, are we okay at the point guard position at that point? Because what I see is a point guard by committee after Jalen Hood-Schifino and Austin Reeves. So that's a curious thing for me. I think keeping a point guard in place is helpful. I ain't gonna say essential because you do have LeBron James. Cam Reddish is a guy who plays point guard to a degree, so he's gonna be looking to make others better at times when he's on the floor. I think Max Christie has some of that in his game. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. But Austin Reeves is going to take a step forward. If we resign him, he's definitely going to be looking to be a point guard. We want to have the ball in his hands some. It's something that he said he really wanted for himself. So I'd imagine if D'Lo skedaddles, we're going to be asking Austin to step up and play that role some. Unless Jalen Hood-Schifino's having like a crazy rookie season, which I wouldn't rule out at all. But I just don't want to ask him to do too much or be a starting point guard in a win now situation right now. I don't particularly think that's the greatest thing for Jalen Hood-Schifino in his rookie season. Nah. Now if he shows he's that kind of dude, then hey, step on up and let's go. But that's a tough thing to ask a rookie to be the rookie Laker point guard for LeBron James. Nah, that's a lot for the young fella. So let's bring in a point guard here that steps in front of him for this upcoming season and let him run the second unit consistently playing that point guard position. If he happens to step up and be our center by the end of the season, that'll be great. I mean, point guard, obviously, but starter is what I was trying to say. So, yeah, that's what I see there. I'm very curious to see if there's going to be a role for a guy like Fudge when you consider all the wings that we have on this team. I just don't know if he'll be playing with the big squad this year. We just got too many wings. That sounds strange, right? But unless he can play some center, I don't see the role there. Not with this roster constructed this way. Damian Ba, I'm curious to see about that player. That's the one guy I haven't been able to name. I said I was going to watch some footage on him. That was only about 3 minutes long, but I'm going to still do that. And, of course, we have the Summer League beginning on the 3rd, I believe, of July. I believe that's what we got going on. And then from there, play like a couple of games in Sacramento, and then it goes to Vegas from there. I think that's how that goes, starting in Vegas on like the 14th or something. Not quite sure. But nevertheless, Summer League is right around the corner, and we're really going to get a chance to see Damian Ba, Fudge, Castleton, the Maxes, Cole Swider, Christie, several other guys as well. I wonder if Cam Reddish will decide to play, even though he's a vet in this league. I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world for him to run some Summer League play. He has a lot of developing to do. He has not had a lot of playing time, and he should be out there. He really should. So that's what I gotta say, man. I don't think a guy like him probably would want to do that. He's been in the league now for about 4 or 5 years, but I don't give a damn. This is like his rookie season as far as I can tell, because nobody's played him at all. And he got hurt that first season, and he didn't get much time to play. So for me, I don't see one reason why he shouldn't be one to run with the young fellas. He's one of them. And so that's how I'm looking at that. But Maxwell Lewis, I'm super excited about, man. I can't wait to see what he can do. Max Christie, the combination of those two, I'm expecting really good things from in the Summer League and throughout the season, to be honest with you, depending on how Coach wants to run them. Cole Swider and his shooting ability, I think he's healthy now, coming back from that broken foot. Hopefully he can be 100% this season. I think he's going to surprise some people defensively. I haven't forgotten what he can do there. I think people think he's a one-way player. Nah, I think he could develop into I think he's like a Max Strus, maybe a little better than Max. Hopefully he'll develop into somebody who's better than that. But that's kind of the type of player I think he's going to be. Hitting shots on one side, and it's being feisty all over the place defensively. So that's who I see Cole kind of turning into for us. Um, Hopefully with more upside, to be honest. Let's see, Castleton. Can't wait to see him run the floor. That dude is going to impress some people. I think he's going to be a crowd favorite in the summer league real quick when people see what it is he does, because he's going to make people better and he's going to push the break and he's going to have a lot of energy. He's high motor. I like this guy. We might have found a diamond in the rough again with Castleton. So hopefully we can just have a really, really good summer league and shock the world and take the whole thing, because that's what I'm hopeful our team will do. But yeah, that's where my mind is. Honestly, I'm excited about the young players on the team. I'm always looking to see development go forward with our squad. This is what I've been waiting for. It's just a whole fleet of young players that are good, switchable, tradable. But you probably don't want to trade none of them. That's exactly what you want. And I think Torian Prince is exactly the type of vet I would want in this situation. Not taking nothing away from nobody, kind of unassuming, but can come in, be reliable, play both sides of the floor, be big enough to switch, and all of that. He's just the right kind of guy for the situation, on the right price for the situation. So I think that's probably going to be a brilliant move. And when you consider playoff time, I think he's going to be somebody that's going to help us a lot if he's healthy by the end of that time. And so we got to use him sparingly. Sometimes people overuse him because he plays well throughout courses of the season and he ends up getting hurt, stuff like that. I've seen it a lot with him over the years. So we just got to be keep him in a role that allows him to stay healthy and fresh, and just a compliment to the other youngsters, the other players that are his position. Um, yeah, and I like the idea that him and Vanderbilt have played with one another in Minnesota. As I look at their two names together, there's some synergy to be had defensively with them having been in the same rotation a lot of the time. So I think that's an underrated thing that we have going in our favor right there. Um, and Gabe Vincent's overall defensive ability and his the high intensity from the situation from which he just came from over the last several years. Miami has been a winning team with a winning attitude, and whether they had a good role record or whether their record was trash, they were always headed for the Eastern Conference Finals, as history has told the story. So that's the type of winning attitude we need on our team, type of dog we need on our team. And that's why I'm really excited about Gabe Vincent. And I'm not really worried as much about his size, because he's literally the shortest player on the team. There's nobody else shorter than him. And the fact that he's defensive, that's the main thing. You have a problem with shorter players if they have to be hunted out and things like that. You're not really hunting Gabe Vincent. That's what you're not doing. Because if that were the case, Miami wouldn't have gotten as far as they did. They were a lot more talented on paper than Miami. I say that with a lot of humility and respect, because there's something to be said for continuity. And I think our team is going to start to put that together with a lot of guys being carried over from last year to this year. Us having a training camp with these guys. I'm just really excited about how Gabe Vincent is ultimately going to fit in. Knowing that Coach likes to run smaller players, he's going to be on the floor, but in roles that make sense for him, because he's going to have playmakers on the floor at all times, getting him the ball where it makes sense to do so. And he tends to pick his own spots pretty well too. If I'm not mistaken, he can create his own a little bit. So I'm pretty optimistic that Gabe Vincent's going to play well, at least $11 million well every season for the contract. I trust he'll do that. And so, yeah, there's some questions I have about the team, about, like Cam Reddish. What are we going to get from him? Cole Swider, these young guys are not really sure what they're going to do, how high of a level they're going to be able to play from night to night. Of course, LBJ and AD, what are you going to get from your core from night to night? How healthy are they going to be throughout the course of the season? At what level are we still expecting them to play at, particularly LeBron at this age? What are we going to get? How much time is going to be expected to be taken off to keep him healthy? AD the same thing. So that's going to be the question. Do we have enough young players playing at a high level without these guys to win games? Because Dennis Schroeder would help with that a lot of the times. He's gone now. So it's like, okay, we're going to miss time. There's going to be games where they're not there. Reeves is going to be an important re-signing. That's why you need him, because he's going to help keep that level high. Him and Rui Hachimura, we're going to need Rui to play at a high level. But can Christie step up? Is he going to be one of them type of guys? You know what I mean? That's the question. You think he is, but we're going to have to see that. Maxwell Lewis, is he going to play well, or are we going to have issues like he had in Pepperdine second half of the season. We can't have no, you know what I mean? His role is going to be important because he's one of our better shooters. Is D'Lo going to be around? Are they going to find a solution to some of those feet problems he had? You know, these are things that I need answers for if I'm going to have him be my point guard, especially since it's such an important situation. But what I will say about D'Lo is his height. That's very good for this roster. The fact that he's about 6'5", 6'6", you love that for him being on here interchangeable with JHS at 6'5" as well. So that's where my head goes. I like having those big point guards in this team, and I don't know that there are too many more big point guards out there that we can acquire for this upcoming season. So that's the argument to bring back D'Lo and let him play for this team. Yeah, man, but we even though all of our guards and our forwards are of height and look like they can really contribute to a fantastic team, there's just going to be certain nights where you're just not going to be able to get to where you need to get to without a center. This is that type of year. AD's going to have to play 82 games, and that's just not real. In order for us to really be able to contribute to rebounding and block shots and various different things that we know are important for us. Nobody wants to pay too much for centers right now. I am definitely on board with not, but we do need to get this thing taken care of. We don't want to disrespect the center position this year, especially now that Wembanyama's out here. We will look really foolish going out there with small lineups. And look, these guys are big, but this is still a small ball team. Make no mistake about it. Unless we pick up 2 7-footers that we plan on using a regular rotation, we're a small ball team. And so that's where we ultimately cap ourselves off. The size that we have is comparable to 6'8", but everybody's 6'8". Ain't nobody 6'9", no 6'10". You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're gonna need that. So again, Bamba coming back, important. Castleton, if you don't get a center in here, you're definitely gonna need to use that kid. So developing him is important. And we'll see. We're a small ball team, man. At the end of the day, we're small ball with big forwards and big guards, and that should make for good small ball. Basically, that's what you want. Everybody to be tall and switchable. So, you know, we're going to be looking up at some people, man. I just know this. Whoever we're signing at the center position is not going to be a important piece unless we're going to trade for somebody like Ayton or something, which I really, really doubt. But that's how I see this going. We're just going to pick up a center, a guy, Paul Reed or something like that. You know, maybe we get lucky and get a better name to a degree, but that's really about it. And because of it, I don't think coach is going to really use that player too much anyway. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to use that guy. So this is what we got. I'm telling y'all, this is probably what he's going to be more so willing to use. As I said earlier, I think Taurean Prince is a strong candidate to be traded at the deadline, only because he's on a 1-year deal. And $5 million, you could probably get something for him, depending on where we're at in the season, depending on how we feel about our team, depending on how well these other forwards are playing, depending on what else we can get for him. It's a lot of different things that will determine what ultimately happens with Taurean Prince, how much value he has, is he healthy at that point, all these different things. But at the end of the day, he's on a 1-year deal, so what he's probably going to want to do is showcase himself in a winning situation. And so the first half of the season is going to be important for him to utilize his time to play well and be a plus on the floor for his team, as I'm sure he's capable of doing. And then from there, I think at the trade deadline, it would be up to how well he's playing versus what else we can get that would ultimately determine whether or not they want to keep him with intentions of extending him or ultimately trading him for something that could help them. Or just saying they could absorb that $5 million and let him walk, which is not crazy at all. Given that he's somebody who can help you in the playoffs. So, you know, just a candidate to be traded at the deadline, but also a candidate to simply be kept at the deadline. And that's the good thing about this contract. It doesn't do damage either way. So that's what I like. That's what I like about the situation. We'll see where we're at, and we'll assess it from there. But this team looks pretty good, man. If LBJ and AD are healthy, a lot is riding on guys taking steps forward who were good last year. They need to continue to play at least that good every night next year. Rui, Reeves specifically, and Vanderbilt as well, depending on how much playing time he gets, because coach may not play him for reasons that, you know, have to do with hitting shots and stuff like that. But We expect him to be on the floor a good portion of the time anyway because he's good. Vando's going to earn a spot on this team, especially without a center. So that's what I predict. But nevertheless, we're going to need guys to really step forward. If they're going to be on the floor, you got to play well. And this is the type of thing where this team is going to have to prove they not only all can make a name for themselves, but that they can come together as a unit and be unselfish and play for one another. And that's going to be the story. LBJ and Bron, LBJ, AD, Taurean Prince, Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves, and if D'Lo comes back, D'Lo. Those are our veterans, y'all. Those are our vets. You know, it's not a whole lot of veteran leadership on this team outside of LBJ, AD, and basically Taurean Prince. You know, that's what they got in terms of vets. So, you know, I prefer it because you know me, I want a team full of young players. But I do think that the leadership of those men are going to have to really carry this team. You know, Gabe Vincent, of course, we already mentioned, guys who've been there before. These are youngsters, man. I'm looking at names of guys who are not proven. Rui, Cam, even the guys that we like JV, Vanderbilt, you know, Christie, Swider, Hood Schifino, Maxwell Lewis. All these guys are youngsters. Hodge, Bamba, if he comes back, Castleton, Fudge, Barr, they're all kids. None of them have a name. And that's a good thing. They're going to make that name with us. They all have the right skill sets to be able to come together to make a good team. So I'm not worried about that. I just hope for the best. You know, miss shots, stuff like that. I don't think these guys are inefficient in that way. Most of these guys we got can hit shots. So it's not like I'm expecting it to be a brick fest on most nights. Young players miss shots on the road, that kind of thing. But these guys are shooters. We got some real shooters, some real shot makers. So we should definitely be a more fluid, efficient offensive team in theory. Maybe not as much playmaking, but still enough to probably keep us cohesive most of the time. I like the ability for most of these guys to get the ball and rebound it themselves, start the break. Most of these players should be able to do that on their own. Yeah, I don't see too many players that can't do that on this team that are on contract as of right now. But you know, with Austin Reeves and D'Lo are still very important to what it is that'll make this team very good. Because if for some reason those pieces skedaddle and we don't replace them, this team ain't really that great. To keep it all the way honest with you, they're not. it's a good, okay young team, but those are two of the better players on this team this year. D'Lo and Reeves, they are very important pieces. So that's what I'm about to say. And then from there, I expect Max Christie to turn into something really, really good, man. I do. I expect Max Christie to be a very efficient player who gets steals, who chase down blocks, stuff like that, various different athletic moves, dunking the ball and all that. I really expect him to really step up. Maybe not turn into some superstar or nothing, but he's going to take on a role where I think he turns into basically being something like what Austin was when he first got started. Like, oh, you can really move, you can really do some things. I expect that from Christie, to really be a real role player for our team this year. And if for some reason he doesn't develop into that, that could cap off the entire team unless someone else steps up, like Cam Reddish. If he turns into that dude, or if Maxwell Lewis really has a Rookie of the Year type season, then that can make up for something like that. You know, Jalen Hood-Schifino, I think his role is going to be specific, and so I don't know if he's going to be on the floor as much as maybe we would want him to be to make that type of impact. I just wonder. I don't know. But if D'Lo ain't here, he definitely will. If Reeves ain't here, he definitely will. And so we'll know what type of player he is, and if he can take on that type of load and be that kind of dude, then we'll instill ourselves that type of confidence in him as well. But the jury is out for myself because I just ain't seen him that much. So, yeah, man, I'm hopeful that nothing crazy happens with Austin Reeves. I'm very thankful that everything worked out with Rui Hachimura. And I'm thrilled with the free agent signings. I'm thrilled, man. I think we did great. I think that these pieces come together to just make everything switchable and everything fluid, everything 3-point, space-worthy. You know, our spacing should be really good this season, much better than it was these last 3 years, maybe ever with Bron. Um, yeah, what I like about this season is we put more of an emphasis on shooting, but the last time we put so much of an emphasis on shooting, we were old. All the guys we had could shoot over 40%, but all of them were over 40 years of age. And so it's one of them situations where it's like, all right, now we got a little more balance of what it is we should have had some of those years when we were taking chances. The Westbrook year, we didn't really need Westbrook as much as we needed something like this, so that these guys could just have a really good team around them, balanced size, and hopefully just enough shooting to just accentuate what they already do as superstars. And if they can hold up, maybe all of this talent can make for us having a really good team. And so, do I think we lost some pieces that make us extremely good? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Dennis Schroeder really helped a lot. Troy Brown was a young piece that I think we actually upgraded. I'm not sure if Winyon's coming back, but I would love for him to come back to make this a more fuller team as well. But the jury's still out because we still have those massive pieces that are in the win. D'Lo, if he's going to turn into a different person, we'll know what we have then. But for now, as long as I'm assuming that we have him, I feel pretty good about us right now. Because I know throughout the regular season, he's going to do a lot of good stuff. But I just worry about his health. And, of course, like everyone else, what are we going to see from him in the playoffs? More of the same? That's not going to work. But him at $20 million, what I hear the rumor was, is like a 2-year, $20 million. That's really good for us. Because we can bring that on and feel good about him playing that up. And if we need to trade it, we feel confident that it's not going to be no problem doing so long as he's healthy. And that's why I'm worried. But if they have everything okay with his medicals and they can work everything out so that he's expected to play a full season, I feel all right about signing D'Lo. $20 million, 2 years. So now we just wait for Austin. We definitely want the best for Austin Reeves, but we also want ourselves to sign him for a very affordable contract. And so hopefully all of these things can fall into place. And like Rui Hachimura and the LA Lakers, everybody walks away happy. So that's what I'm hopeful to happen there. That's pretty much all I have to say. That's my Laker chat video for this Friday evening. Beautiful Friday evening where free agency has taken place and given us plenty to talk about. And I encourage everybody to check out all those videos I did earlier talking about that very thing, where a lot of contracts were just ridiculous. A lot of them were very, very, very weird to me. And I just kind of have a thought about whether or not they're going to work out. And so I shared all that with you guys. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I didn't report on. I don't think so. Josh Richardson went back to the Heat. I'm pretty sure I said that somewhere in one of these videos. That's pretty much the thought there, man. Congratulations to all the guys who got their paper today, man. This is a very good day for a lot of basketball players. And, a day of change in guys' lives. They got to move around, new teammates, certain things that they're used to for a long period of time is just changed now. So that's something we respect on this channel, and we wish everybody well. So that is what I got to say, man. Kudos to Rob Pelinka. Good stuff. Video 44. Thank y'all for watching. Out.